asking the questions is the most important part.
Yep.
And asking all of the right questions. I've had clients where they tell me, well, the other loan officer didn't ask me that. I said, well, yeah, if they didn't ask you this, that means that they won't know what can come up. And so you do have to really pair yourself with a loan officer that asks all the right questions. I've had people where they thought they didn't qualify and then they do qualify.
We don't buy houses every day, every month, every few years,
You
right?
don't. When I talk to my clients, and I always tell them, I'm like, I want to make sure that I provide you the level of service that you deserve, that you need, that because I really do depend and have always been 100% referral based.
Hello, my name is Cander and I am the Director of Business Development here at Scoop Soldiers. And one of the funnest parts of my job is I get to co-host the Find Your Gold podcast, where we hope to inspire entrepreneurship, and maybe, we never know, maybe I find my next pet waste millionaire, considering Scoop Soldiers franchising. Once again, we are on the road. Jeremy are on the road with me, and we're cross country, and we're in Chicagoland this time. And I was able to, I'll say snag Sandra, kind of against her will a little bit, about sharing her story. She has a great story. I could not have her share it. So I will zip my mouth and tell me who you are, and where we're at, and what you do.
So thank you, Kendra. Thank you for having me. And yes, you did pull me, tug at me. My name is Sandra Keys, and I am a mortgage loan officer. I have been in this beautiful industry for 3 decades.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe because you're like 22.
I know.
The math doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It doesn't. But yes, so I've been doing this for 3 decades, and I absolutely love what I do. So I'm a mortgage loan officer.
You do. So what is a mortgage loan officer? Like what do you do?
What I do is the most important part of why we're the most. I always tell people, right, clients, when they first want to go look at a house, and they want to go look at the house with the realtor, and it's just like, no, I'm the most important person in the room, because I'm the one with the money. So I have to make sure that they are vetted and that we can get them to the closing table. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously, like the realtors probably appreciate that too, because the client may or may not be right on what they can or cannot afford, and so by being pre-approved, now the realtor knows what they're working with, right?
Correct.
So step one is you're ready to buy a house. You meet with a mortgage officer, hopefully Sandra, and she can kind of walk you through, like, I assume you look at their credit and you look at what you got and figure out how to make it better or where we're ready to go. Like, can you walk me through some of those steps?
Correct. So the first step is obviously talking to a mortgage loan officer, preferably Sandra Keys. But it is the most important part of the transaction, because sometimes people don't even know what they qualify for, or what they can afford, because obviously their math and our math is different. So we actually we're very diligent we do a lot of due diligence on our pre-approvals, because I always tell clients that that's my name, that's my word on there. And so I'm actually telling that listing agent and that seller, hey, you're going to accept my offer and we're going to get to the table, because we've already looked at everything. So we're going to run your credit. We're going to look at all of your income, all of the assets. We're going to ask all of the questions that I always tell people. I learned this from very, very early on. I always tell them, I'm kind of like your attorney. You tell me everything, and then we decide what we tell the judge. But
maybe we shouldn't be sharing that part. Like, maybe that's not where we share.
But that is the part where it is true, though.
Yeah.
It is, because at the end of the day, they try to tell you. They don't tell you things sometimes.
No.
And they think that holding back is better.
Right.
And I don't want any surprises.
No.
And asking the questions is the most important part.
Yep.
And asking all of the right questions. I've had clients where they tell me, well, the other loan officer didn't ask me that. Said, well, yeah, if they didn't ask you this, that means that they won't know what can come up.
Right.
So you do have to really pair yourself with a loan officer that asks all the right questions.
And I would even say, whether it's mortgage or the realtor or franchise sales or wherever you're at, like the person, like sometimes salespeople kind of get like a bad rap, like, oh, there's a salesperson, or whatever it is. But I'd say most of us aren't. Like most of us want to find the right I want to put the right person in the right franchise at the right time in the right area. And you're probably the same, right? I know you're the same. You want to put the right person in the right spot. We don't want them to buy a franchise and it doesn't work. You don't want them to buy a house and it doesn't work, right?
Correct.
So doing the right due diligence first can save money on the back end.
100%,
right?
100%. And kind of like what you said, you don't want someone to purchase a franchise and then, God forbid, you didn't do all their due diligence, or neither did they. Same thing with us. When I talk to the clients, I tell them, I'm not your normal loan officer that's just going to stick you in a house. I'm going to ask, if you're having a cosigner, is that cosigner going to help you? And if not, then who is going to help you?
Right.
And so, sometimes people look at that and they're not happy, but at least I know I can sleep at night because
I say that all the time.
I do. I can sleep at night because I know I did my part, which is making sure that I'm helping them make the right decision.
I completely agree. Like I go to bed at night knowing that we have a 10-year franchise agreement, right? And you can sell your franchise, you win the lottery, we can resell it, right? You buy a house and it doesn't work out, you can resell it. But that's not the intent, and that process isn't always nice and it doesn't feel good. So the way we sell franchises off of good unit economics and happy franchise owners. The way you keep doing mortgages is off of successful sales and happy customers, correct?
Correct.
So you get it wrong. It's not even that's the right thing to do. You get it wrong and it impacts your business. So we try very hard to not let that happen.
That's exactly.
So someone you specialize in a lot of like new homeowners, right? Or like
first time home buyers. Okay. So my specialty is obviously first time home buyers. They're near and dear to my heart because I do believe that they need the most help. I think that they need the most guidance.
Okay.
But I also have repeat customers, so second homes, investment properties, refinances, 203Ks, lending when renovation loans. Okay. So I specialize in all of those.
I guess I've only ever just bought like a regular house with a regular loan. Like I didn't have any. I'm pretty normal,
simple
and boring,
and that's okay. But no, I mean, there's a lot of those, right? I think there's a lot of just regular loans, but there are the different type of loans. Like I said, the renovation loans, VA loans. So
you've got like a bigger toolbox. So it's not like the only homes I've ever bought were regular homes, regular loan. But owning a home's the American dream, right? So sometimes you probably meet someone that you need to dig back into your toolbox and figure out, is there a
something
tool
else
that fits them better? And then, so how does that work when there isn't something that fits better? Like, how do you have this? Sometimes you probably have to have an uncomfortable, I have to have them, uncomfortable conversation. But it's the right thing to do, right? Like
it is the right thing. It is the right thing to do. Those uncomfortable conversations are the ones that
probably needed most.
And they do, and it's funny. It's weird and funny at this. Not funny because I think it's with the amount of time that I've been in the business, I know that the most challenging conversation I have to have is the ones that have credit challenges.
Okay.
And I always tell people when we have this conversation, it's we judge ourselves, and that's the biggest challenge that we have internally, right? That internal conversation of, I don't want to talk about my credit. I don't want, and then when we have to have that conversation, like right now you can't purchase because of, or we need to do this. And I'm not an underwriter, so I can't make that determination. And I always tell people that it's like, I'm not making the determination that you can't purchase, but based on what I'm looking at, based on the guidelines, we're going to need a little bit of help.
Right.
And that's what we do also, which is, we help them get to where they need to be. And I've had some clients that we've worked with that it's taken 2 years.
Okay.
But that satisfaction of them coming back, redoing the follow-up, doing the, making sure that they're on track. And sometimes people are on track and sometimes they're not. And we'll help anyone who wants to be helped.
So then if somebody is watching this and they're like, I do want to own a home, but I can't think of a good example. Like I just declared bankruptcy, or I'm upside down on my car, or like I just got laid off, or like whatever those things are, they should still make the phone call, right? Like they should still get in touch with you so that you can look at what they have and then tell them whether they qualify or they don't qualify, or tell them what steps they need to do to get to where they're going to qualify, right?
Correct. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think the most important part is, yes, to make that phone call, because I've had people where they thought they didn't qualify and then they do qualify.
Yeah.
And I've had people where they think they don't qualify and they don't qualify. And yes, we but if you don't know, I always tell people, if you don't know where you're going, I can tell you how to get there.
Okay.
And I think that's the most
fair.
important part, is knowing that you're going to be working with a team, and that we're going to help you get to where you need to be, which is, it sometimes takes 6 months, sometimes takes a month, sometimes takes a year, sometimes it takes
Longer.
2 years.
Yeah.
So I think it just really depends on how much they want to do and how fast they're going to work on it.
Okay.
And every situation is different. And I think that's the hardest part too, is that there's so much information out there that sometimes it confuses the public.
Yeah, no, we went to coffee on Sunday when I was in, and my credit's fine, all those things are fine, but I'm like, well, I don't think I can look at a second property because I've only been here at Scoop Soldiers for 6 months. And you're like, no, you're like, it's totally different. My brain thought it knew what it knew, and it didn't know it right. So you're open to asking and answering all those questions whenever they come up.
Absolutely. I think the most important part is that when I absolutely love what I do. I don't consider it work. It's my purpose. And so to me, I think it is important to make that call, because so many people think that they don't qualify, or think that they don't have what it takes to be a homeowner. And they do. And they just need a little bit of help.
What's the biggest misconception of first-time home buyers, if you could narrow down to one? And that's kind of a big question, but
it is a big question, but I don't know. I think there's still that thought process that sometimes you need a bigger down payment, and you don't. Like the minimum down payment we have is 3% conventional, but there are programs. I don't want to say that there's not. There are first-time home buyer programs. We have one right now. It's expensive. It's an expensive program, but it's an FHA 0. I don't like the name of it, FHA 0, because we finance the down payment depending on your credit score.
Oh, okay.
But you really are getting into a property. We closed a transaction where they didn't have the funds, but they wanted to be homeowners. They had every other requirement. They just didn't have the funds. And I tell them going in, this is an expensive product, but it will get you in. There is no prepayment penalty, and you can finance up to 5%. So you are coming in with like 1%. And if you can get your agent, your real estate agent, to help and negotiate closing cost credits, that's challenging in itself, because it's a challenging market. But if it works out, you sometimes can buy a house with like 1%.
So what is like, and you hear it on the news, like challenging, economy and the market for housing is bad or great, or what makes, like, who says that? Like, what makes a market challenging, right? Like, I feel like franchise sales is challenging every stinking day. So what makes the world think that it's challenging now?
I think that's a good question, and
who's they?
I choose not to participate in that,
right?
So
I do too. I just move on with my life.
I choose not to participate in the negative, because there's challenges every day. Like, again, I can't imagine doing franchise sales, right? I just can't. But I think that the negative, if we were to listen to all of the negative, so many people would not be homeowners. Because there's always going to be negative. People are always going to tell you it's not time to buy. The interest rates are high. It's better to rent than it is to buy. I mean,
is it better to rent than to buy?
No,
I know the answer, but
when you think about it, I mean, we have some clients that they bought homes like a few years ago. They have a ton of equity in those homes now. If you're renting, what do you have?
I guess I never thought about it as like, if you buy your house, for easy math, you bought your house for $100,000 this year, you lived in it for 10 years, and you sold it for $100,000 in 10 years, like, rent would have been every single month due, right? Like you're investing in yourself and then building up something so you can move on to something else.
Correct.
Yeah,
you are investing in yourself.
Right.
Yes, and the thing that I always tell people, if you think about it, rent nowadays is so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm listening. I just took a pre-qualification, and they were like, their rent's $2,200, and I'm like, wow, $2,200.
Like,
and some people have. I mean, another family that I talked to, I think they're paying, I don't know, $1,800, $2,000, and they've been there 10 years. Do the math. So if they continue to listen to the negativity, which is, if you listen to the negative, you never will do anything. It's never going to be the right time. It's never going to be perfect. But I think if you get in and you purchase a property and you let time dictate, you are investing in yourself. You said it.
Yep.
You're investing in yourself. You're paying yourself. You're not paying a landlord.
So for someone that's, I won't even say younger, someone that's looking for their first home or considering like maybe next year, what are the 3 things, like 2 or 3 things that they should make sure they do just to make sure that they're qualified? You know, like I'm saying that wrong. What are the 3 things that you find like, I wish you would have done this differently? Did I say that right?
Well, I think yes. So I think a lot of the challenges too come in with like no credit, right?
Oh.
Let's say our younger individuals,
Okay.
let's say our college kids that are getting out and, like my son graduated and, he got his job and it's just like, I made sure that he had credit established, right?
Okay.
So getting the younger generation, the ones that, want to be homeowners is starting off with credit. So making sure, credit is the most important part because without credit, it's like, you can't hardly lend.
So what's worse, bad credit or no credit? Or are they both?
No credit. I mean, it's a good question because which is worse, bad credit or no credit? But no credit, at least you can establish credit. And bad credit takes time to fix.
Okay.
I always tell people late payments is the worst thing you can do for yourself. If you make a late payment, the only thing that will save you in a late payment is time. That's it. So sometimes
like one late payment, like I forgot to pay my car payment once.
Yeah, it could hurt you. It could absolutely hurt you. I mean, sometimes it's not just once. And I mean, I had clients where they were ready to close. They had a clear to close. They forgot about a credit card. They forgot about a Macy's credit card. And it was literally $25. And she had a credit score like in the 700s. She went from being able to do a conventional loan, which is very credit score driven, to having to go FHA because that one late payment totally messed her up. Well, she was, I think, 60 days late or something like that. She forgot about it. She forgot about it.
Probably had like a $3 charge on her card.
Yep.
That they added a $20 late fee, and then before you know it, you can't buy your house because you forgot about.
She forgot about it. That's it.
Okay.
So credit and just making sure, and not a lot of things. I know there's a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, right? And so they start their own businesses. And you do have to have your 2 years. There are some loans that are bank statement loans. Like, again, there's a lot of things that are kind of coming up again. So I think at the end of the day is asking, right? Asking the right questions to see if they can purchase, but credit and making sure that your job history, what you have, and then, I mean, down payment, but there are some first-time home buyer programs that we could look into or financed programs. So there's some things that we can actually look into.
So for people that are, because I've been self-employed for a lot of my life. And so as a self-employed person, owning a business, you're taught to like, take as little as you can, right? Like take as little as you can so you pay less taxes, all those things. And then you go to get a loan and you're like, I can't give you a loan because you don't make any money. You're like, but I do. Like how does that, how does that, right? And I even tell people like with lines of credit, like as a business owner, I'm like, always establish a line of credit. Once a year, write a check, pay it back, right? Because they'll turn it off if you don't. Because when you need money and you go to the bank, they're going to say, we can't give you a line of credit because you're broke. You're like, I know. That's why I need a line of credit, right? So is it something similar? Like if you own your business and you think that you're going to buy a house or you're going to refi down the road, are there certain things that you would recommend somebody does if they're self-employed? Because it's different. It's totally different.
It is different. And I think those are my most challenging clients too, because we know they make the money, right? They make the money. They just write it off.
We just show it differently.
Exactly. You show it differently. You write it off. There are some loans that have come into play, but everybody wants, it's just like, listen, you're going to get hit one way or another.
Right.
You're going to pay taxes or you're going to pay a higher interest rate.
Or you're going to pay rent.
Or you're going to pay right. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that you know how to, the loan officer that you're working with, preferably Sandra Keys, that they know what they're doing and how to actually look at the tax returns. Sometimes you can make it work and sometimes you can't. And so it's a challenging question because yes, self-employed is one of those borrowers that got, impacted the most with all the loans that you can't do, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's just a matter of how do you prepare yourself if you want to buy a house and you are self-employed. you're going to have to pay some taxes.
Do you I remember this is, probably 15, 20 years ago. I was self-employed. Thankfully, my husband had a W-2 job, but I remember, I don't know if it was you. I don't know if I even knew you yet, but they were talking about, the mortgage officer was talking about stated income. She's like, will you just tell me what you make? And I'm like, and I remember thinking in my head, well, if I just, what?
Yeah. Yeah, those what's, right. Yeah, that was the bad, those were the loans that were, I don't want to say bad loans, well, but so those were the loans that got us in trouble.
So maybe and my next question was going to be, how do we, what's the red flag on a mortgage officer? But I remember, and I was probably 20, right? I was young, and I remember, and I'm not the smartest person, and I remember thinking, listen, if you're just, I'm looking at the mortgage person, if you're just telling me to tell you a number, pick a big one, and I'm like, and that's going to determine how much my loan is. I'm like, I remember clearly looking at them and being like, they're not worried about how I'm going to make that payments.
Yeah.
Right? That was
so many people,
so what's the red flag? If someone's, there's a good doctor and a bad doctor. There's a good franchise salesperson and there's not. There's a good, right, all back. And what should someone look for? What's the red flag that you should say, maybe you're not a good fit for me?
So that's yeah, and I'm glad you did say there's good doctors, bad doctors. I think there's good and bad in everything. Mm-hmm. And you can have a very, very negative experience buying a house. Mm-hmm. You absolutely can. And I think the most important part is the questions that are asked, right? So if you are working with someone who, and it's hard, right? It's hard for you to know if they're good or bad because you really don't know
until you're done.
It's like with your doctor. How do you know how good he was or how bad he was? So I think the same thing with a loan officer, but I think that go with your gut if you're not getting your questions answered. Are they available, for you? I'm very blessed that I have a team that works with me. And so if I'm not available, somebody can be available for them. And that they actually look at the documentation. Okay. So sometimes, listen, it's ugly out there. And there'll be loan officers that'll issue pre-approval letters and they haven't even looked at the documents, right? Or they've kind of skimmed through them and really haven't dug deep because it takes time and time costs money, right? And so if you have staff working on that, that you don't even know if they're going to stay with you, number one, and you don't know if they're going to find a contract or find a house. So you're investing time. As I said, time costs money. So sometimes the loan officers won't look at that. Or they'll skim through it, right? They'll look quickly and then all of a sudden it'll be like, well, this came up or that came up or... So you have to just be, I think that asking the questions, did you look at my documentation? Are they available? And reviews, looking at that type of thing to ensure that you're working with someone experience, right? How long have they been in the business?
Right. How many loans have they closed?
How many loans have they done? And are they looking out for my best interest?
I remember a long time ago you had mentioned that if you do a loan for someone and I don't know what their word, I want to say, is it foreclose or the loan didn't work? What's the word?
Default.
Yeah. So they default. Does that default affect the mortgage officer? If you did 100 loans, this month, which would probably be great, right?
Yeah, it would be great.
100 loans and 98 ended up defaulting. How does that
So there's a score. There's a score. I know that obviously now with our licenses and stuff like that. So I don't know in depth, but I can tell you that I do worry about all that all the time because
that's customer service too.
It is customer service, and I want to make sure when I talk to my people, I always tell them I want you to be a successful homeowner. Right. It's not about the getting paid right now. It's about I want to help you. I want to help your family. And if I didn't actually take the time to make sure that I'm servicing them and helping them, then it doesn't do me any good. No. I don't want to work with you one time, hit you on the head, and then forget about you. Yeah. I want to work with you multiple times, your family. I'm doing loans for my clients' children now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so it's beautiful because it's sometimes I talk to somebody you did my loan 20 years ago and this is and I'm just oh my God, it's so beautiful to actually have that. Yeah.
I interviewed a gentleman named Jonathan. He's the CEO of Shuck and Shack. There's one in Naperville. You should go. It's very good. But he had said, like, in
What's
their
it called?
Shuck and Shack.
What's that?
It's like I don't know, like it's a not fancy but really good seafood place, like mussels and oysters and calamari over by Trader Joe's.
Okay.
Over like by Colonial and like Ogden Avenue over there.
Okay.
But anyways, so we were talking, and he had said for them, like the thing that they live and die by is that when their customers, like their employees are trained, when our customers are here, we want them to enjoy their experience, we want them to come back, and we want them to tell others. And it relates to everything. Like at Scoop Soldiers, I want you to enjoy your clean yard. I want you to keep hiring us back. I want you to tell others. In franchise sales, I want you to enjoy your franchise. I want you to buy more franchises, and I want you to tell others. That would be the same thing. That's how you got to like second generations, right? They
100%.
like and buying a house is not, like you don't do that. Like we don't buy houses every day, every month, every few years.
You
right?
don't. And so that's why when I talk to my clients, and I always tell them, I'm like, I want to make sure that I provide you the level of service that you deserve, that you need, that because I do work 100% referrals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not advertising. I'm not, buying leads. I'm not doing any of that. I really do depend and have always been 100% referral based.
Yeah.
And obviously the biggest referrals are also my agents, the agents that trust me, that have worked with me for years, that, trust myself and my team to make sure that we're helping their clients so they can get referrals and that we can keep helping.
Yep, it all kind of runs. So let's talk about your team too. So roll me back. Like how many loans do you do a year? Like just so people understand the volume of what's happening, so that when we talk about your team, they understand, like you don't do like a loan a month. I mean, like how many loans do you do a year?
So
Ish,
right? COVID was our best years, right? I think we did like 220 loans for like 2 years in a row, which was absolutely amazing. We helped so many families. But we average about 120, 130 loans, right? A year. And obviously, we serve and help those families. We want to serve. Our goal is to serve at least 200 families. We really do want to get there. It is challenging. It is definitely very challenging because, again, we depend on customers, and finding the clients is the hardest part.
Staying in front of them
and helping them. So we do 100 and something loans.
I had a business coach tell me once, it's not your job, it's not your customer's job to remember you.
I know,
right? So once even if you've sold got the loan and they bought the house or whatever it was, now when they need to refi or buy another house down the road, like you have to continually, people like us are continually hunting, right? Like we're on to the next one. So how does your team help you stay in front of the person that bought their home 5, 10?
That's the hardest loaded question.
Well, let's go back then. So tell me, how is your team structured, right? So your daughter Alex works for you, but who else? Like I only really, I know you've had, just tell me, how's the team structured?
So right now, the team is myself as the head loan officer, and then my daughter, Alexandra, but goes by Alexa.
Sorry, Alex. I knew you since you were little as Alex, so now we'll change.
Yes. So Alexa, she is my right hand. She's my partner. She's not actually my team member. She's my partner.
Good.
So she kind of puts everything and does everything. She keeps me balanced. And then we added,
which as your BFF is probably,
yes,
she probably has a team underneath her to keep you balanced.
Exactly. And then we have Jasmine. She's a new addition, and she's amazing also. So it's the three of us.
Just three of you. So three people out there hunting and servicing and reminding that we're here, and customers. That seems like, I have no idea. I've never been a mortgage officer, but that just seems like you would need more people.
Yeah, you do, but you have to have more loans to have more people.
Right?
So, I always say I want to, like I said, I really am here to serve and to help and to educate. And so I'm trying to see how we can serve and help more people so that we can add more people.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's not enough hours in the day because sometimes a phone call can take longer, right? And when you are talking to the clients and when you are telling them, your credit is not okay, and we need to work on this, and we need to work on that. Those are conversations that you can't have in 2 minutes.
That's not a text.
And it's not a text. And that, sometimes that does sometimes hurt us in the aspect of you need more hours during the day, but I also want to make sure that I give them that time.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, it's like those easy, and we deal a lot with challenging loans. We are known for being deal rescuers. And so what does that mean? So to rescue a transaction is if you get told no and you're in a transaction and your loan officer denies you, you want somebody to have a second opinion. That's when you call.
I never thought about that.
Absolutely.
Like I always feel like, well, if, they said I couldn't, I wasn't qualified.
Do not take no for an answer. Now, it's not always.
Now, you may also say you're not qualified.
Exactly.
But you should check.
I'm going to tell you, you should absolutely check. I mean, last month alone, we did 3 transactions that were told no. They were told no, and they were denied, and we took them on. And they're called deal rescues because we take them and they go right in front of the line.
Okay.
It's all hands on deck.
Okay.
Everything is looked at. I have, I tell you I have 3 people on my team, but I also have this other amazing part of my team, which is the people that help me, which is, the underwriters and closers and processing and VPs and anybody who will help you to structure a transaction. And that makes me different.
You can just keep doing what you're good at while the other people are doing
they help me where it's like, okay, I've got this transaction and it's this and this and this and this is what this, and so that it's not just me putting it together, it's me figuring out, okay, I learned this early on that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And so I do surround myself by some amazing people that help me help others.
So I'm like kind of laughing because my dad, I'll PC it. He always says that if you're the biggest ding dong in the room, you're probably in the right spot. I was raised differently. And
that's okay. But look where you're at.
Look at me now.
Look at you now, baby. Look at you now. So I mean, it's what you make of it.
So for the people that you are loan rescuing, is it? And again, there's everything for everybody. Is the other mortgage person not catching something, or is there different products, or both?
No, it's just they didn't catch something, or they don't know something, or. I'm sorry, but Loan Depot, we do loans where we don't have, layers.
Okay.
And so sometimes, I'll give I don't want to say names, but bigger banks, right? They have overlays. And overlays means that on top of what the guidelines are, they add to that.
Oh, okay.
And so
they're doing that to that
for
large,
protection of them.
That there's another layer for them.
That's another layer for them.
Okay.
They're saying
so it makes sense for them.
Makes sense for them, and we're only going to lend to this.
Okay.
And because we have an overlay.
Okay.
And where Loan Depot does not have an overlay.
Okay.
And so that's where, and actually experience. The experience. I'm sorry, but being in this business for as long as I've been, we've seen it. We've seen the ups, the downs, the differences, knowing your guidelines or knowing people who know the guidelines that are going to help you be like, okay, this is what we can do and this is what we can't do.
So how do you think, it's been 30 years, how do you think your company's going to progress? What are the next steps for your company? What are the next things that are going to happen? You just want to continue to grow and add more staff, or are there different, I know so little about your industry, even though we've been friends for a billion years. And so we used to run quite a bit together, thousands of miles. But what's left? I know you've not hit the best spot yet, but what is left to keep pursuing?
Well, so I haven't been at Loan Depot for 30 years.
Yeah,
I haven't
but you've been in the industry.
I've been in the industry, yes. And I'm at an amazing company right now that supports me and helps me. And what is it that I want? I just want to help. I want to serve more families.
Yeah.
I love what I do.
Okay.
I do. And I want to continue to serve more families, help educate more people. And I still don't think I've hit the top because I think we can still do more.
Right.
So you asked me what's next is just, I think, growing, just continuing to grow, level up and serve more families.
So if there's somebody out there that's watching and they think, like, I think I could be a mortgage officer. Like, what makes a good mortgage officer?
Oh,
loaded question.
Gosh. That's a loaded question.
Because you're self-employed. Like, I mean, I know Loan Depot helps and you have leads and referrals.
Oh,
but
no. You are self-employed and you find your own leads. And so I think that if you want to get into the mortgage industry, it's a beautiful industry because you get to help families. I do believe we have the best job when we go to closings and you get to see the happiness of what clients are able to achieve. But I think you have to get licensed, so you have to get your licensing. And you start. I mean, I don't know. Like with AI and everything starting now, I guess like you can go in and punch in, what do I need to do to be a successful mortgage loan officer? And I guess it tells you what to do. So clearly I have to get on that. So maybe I can go in there and be like, okay, I want to level up and do more. What do I got to do? But I think the most important part is that knowing your sphere, the same thing. How do you go out and be a franchise and sell franchises? Kind of like loan officer, you want to make sure, because it's hard. Like some places don't want to train. And so you have to find a company that's willing to train you. You have to, start with your sphere. I don't know. I would think it's a lot harder to get in now because before you would go to a real estate office and you would meet realtors and you would do activities, and nowadays people work from home. And so how do you connect with agents, and how do you connect, and there's different loan officers find business differently.
So like, I'm going to cut you off. Because I was the new question. So what's the difference between getting a loan from my bank and getting a loan from you? Or what's the difference?
Some people like to go to banks because it's a brick and mortar. And so they feel comfortable. And so if you are cookie cutter and you're excellent credit and you are just looking for a, rate and all of that, you go into the loan officer that's sitting at the bank, and they're not hunters. They're not out. They don't, they don't really have a relationship. It's my opinion, right?
Right. No, and there's
I look
good
at it
and
different.
bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas for coming to me, you're looking at someone who 100% wants to make sure that we give you that customer service. I'm not saying the bank doesn't, but also the overlays, right? So what's the biggest difference? It overlays, right?
So there's another hoop to jump through.
Another hoop to possibly
So even
jump
if you do
through.
have good credit and you do have a down payment, you have all the things, it does not mean that you need to walk into your bank and be like, I would like a loan, please.
Correct.
Like you should still shop that around. Like just because it's your bank doesn't mean that.
And I'm going to tell
that's
you,
where you should
you
go.
want to know what the biggest difference is? When are you out looking for homes? At night.
Oh yeah, right.
In the evening, Saturdays, Sundays.
Yeah.
There's no mortgage banker at the banks that is going to be answering your phone call. Not that I know of, right?
Right, yeah.
Not that I know
There's probably
of.
one or two
there may be,
but
and I could be wrong, right? But at the same time, I mean, we're available for the clients in the evening.
You are available. I've been with you where you're like,
yes.
Like you literally just answered a call before we sat down.
Yes.
Like because questions need to be answered. And
listen, and sometimes clients, which is not always, but I will say I had one client where he was only available at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And the only way that I was going to get that loan to the table was talking to him at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, sending me documents, because it was the only time that he was able to actually give me. And you're not going to get that with a bank. That I know for sure.
So over 30 years, you've probably done, I don't even know how many loans. Is there one that, I'm sure you have tons, but one that sticks in your memory as this one will always reside like up in here. This is the one that I know I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
So I have had so many. So yes, I have had many stories that are just heartfelt. But I think that one that really, really sticks out for me is a transaction that was a deal rescue.
Okay.
And it was one for one of my agents that he also gave me an opportunity and a turning point in my career. And the other blessing that I've had is that I've been able to thank the agents that have made a difference in my life, because you don't make it here without the help and support of your agents and who trust you. But that transaction was a deal rescue. And at that time, my daughter we had just started kind of working together, and it's a challenge. It's challenge to be mom and to be, you know,
when you're a big personality.
Yeah. And she's not.
She's a little,
she's, you know, she's more calm and all of that. So we had our differences, and it was hard. It was hard because I was very like, you know, business. And so that deal came through, and it was a family. It was a mother and a daughter, and they were starting out a new chapter. Okay. She was getting a divorce, and so they were both on the loan. So my daughter took that transaction from start to finish. You know, she talked to the client, she did everything, and structured it. You know, just everything. She followed it all the way through, and they didn't, you know, when they're part of the team, they usually don't go to the closings because they're behind the scenes, right? And so I was able, I asked her, I said, you know what, Mommy,
So Mommy is Alexa. I don't know why she calls her daughter Mommy, but she does. It's normal. But
it's a
Mommy,
thing. It's a thing.
You called her Mommy before she was a mommy.
So, and I said, you know, I want you to come because I want you to, you know, experience this.
Yeah.
And so we went to the closing, and we were there, and it was awesome because my agent was there, and he got to meet her.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you know, they're signing, they're doing everything. We're kind of talking, you know, and they're actually talking to her because, you know, she was part of the whole transaction. And when they signed everything and they closed, the mom just broke down and just started crying, and, you know, just said thank you so much, and for actually taking the time and to walk them through everything, and it was that moment, and the reason why it was so,
you're giving me like goosebumps,
but it was such a beautiful moment because it was such a challenge for me and my daughter to work together at first, right? Because we didn't know how to. I didn't know how. It wasn't her. It was more me. Not knowing how to differentiate and how I needed her to see that what we did was made a difference. It makes a difference. And the fact that she went from start to finish and then was at the table, and for the reaction that the mother and the daughter had, and it was a new beginning for them.
Right. I can just imagine like standing off to the corner with like the moment of like I can see where that sticks. Multiple things, like the moment that the family closed and this was something that wasn't going to happen, new start, and then seeing like not even your daughter, seeing like a coworker see the thing all the way through her first one and seeing how she impacted it, and then there's got to be a separate aspect, a separate view completely of being like, I'm her mom. And like watching your kid like do something all the way and then seeing her see it. Like I can see why that stacked like multiple ways.
It stuck because she's the reason why I got into the business, right? So she's the reason why I got into the business, but it stuck because after the fact, she wrote me a letter. And she said to me, Mom, I now know why you do this.
Yay.
And I know why you love what you do because you can make a difference.
Yeah.
And we make a difference and you can see it. And she could see how passionate I am about making a difference in somebody's life. And she saw it, lived it. And so that letter to me was, it was just, couldn't put words. And again, it happened with an agent that had given me an opportunity and a turning point in my business. So
it
was just
like
full circle.
Full circle.
And so that sticks to me there because that's when she actually said, I'm in.
See,
I'm in, and I want to be a part
How long
of
have you
this.
How long have you worked with her?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore because
like at least 15 years.
No,
not that long.
No,
because you guys are working together.
No, because how
old?
5 years?
How old Sebastian?
No, Sebastian's 9, but she was going to school.
That's right.
I mean, she got her bachelor's degree, her master's degree, and I
guess
did not think about it. Seems longer.
Yeah.
But she, no, I think it's been, I don't even know. Time flies.
Yeah.
But maybe 5 years.
God, that feels like longer
6
than
years.
that. Huh.
But in 5-6 years, she's just absolutely, I mean, when I say that moment was that turning point for her, and that's when she took the reins and was like, I'm in, and I want to feel this, and I want to be what you see. and how you feel.
Yeah.
And that's when she was like, okay, we do make a difference. And so now I know why you do what you do, and why the late nights, and why the 7 days a week, and why it doesn't feel like a job. And, you know, before it was like, you're always talking shop and da, 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 da. And so now it's like,
now she's talks shop with you.
She talks shop with me. So yeah.
We kind of like start to wrap on time does fly.
Yeah.
So from somebody that's watching that thinks, oh, well, next year, you would still encourage them to reach out sooner than later.
Absolutely.
So that if it is next year, you're ready for next year, right? Because it's not as simple as, hey, can you get me a loan? Like, it doesn't really work that way. So
it's funny you say that, because I've had those clients where it's like, I went out and saw a house and I need a pre-approval now. And then it's like, oh,
that doesn't work that way.
Well, okay, hold on, let me see. But yeah, no, I have some clients actually where I tell them, you know, they're like, well, we want to do something next year. Well, how do you know next year? How do you know where you're at right now?
Right.
And how do you know what you need to work on? And then let me tell you, the moment they have that bug in their head where it's like, I want to buy a house, then all of a sudden they start looking at houses. And then it goes from, oh no, we don't want to wait till next year. I literally had a client, they said, we want to wait till next year. Okay, let's get you approved.
Right.
Let's get you approved. And again, we could do a soft pull, right? If you do a soft pull, it doesn't impact your credit. And then, you know, all of a sudden it came from, I want to do something next year, to, oh my God, we found a house and we love it and we want to put an offer. And it's like, okay, now we're ready. Right? So if you are wondering, can I buy a house? Do I have what is needed to qualify to purchase a property? Give us a call.
You don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
So yeah, you don't know what you don't know. So we're gonna link everything. I don't do any of that. So I don't do any of the linking or the thingings or any of it. I just sit here and ask questions, mainly because I flipping love stories. Like I could talk forever about, like, I find it so interesting that I just keep going. But so
and you're really good at it.
I do. I love to talk to people, which is probably the same as you.
Yes.
So if people want to reach out to you, again, we'll link everything below. What's your website? Like, how do they find you if they want to? Because I don't know that.
You're asking me my website. I don't even know myself.
So why don't we do this? I'll get a hold of Alexa and she will tell us.
So obviously the best form of communication is by cell, right?
Okay.
So my cell phone. So they can reach out to Sandra Keys at 630-854-9760. That is my cell number. That does come directly to me. So you can text me and ask me any questions. You can also email me at skeys@loandepot.com. That's another great way.
I'll reach out to your daughter and get the rest of the information.
And then, yes, we do have Instagram and we do have Facebook, and it is the Keys team. So it's skeys at the Keys team.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for coming in and spending time, and like, your story is great. We can talk for hours and hours and hours about how great you are.
Well, it's not even, you know what? It's a blessing.
It is.
I absolutely love what I do. It touches my heart a lot. There are some stories that stick too. And it's just like what I get to do for a living is a blessing.
Out there making more stories. Well, we appreciate your time. Obviously, like I said, we'll link all of Sandra's stuff below. You know where to find me. If you watch us more than a few times, you know where to find me. I'm Cander W at scoopsoldiers.com, scoopsoldiersfranchising.com. We'll also link that below, but hopefully you find some inspiration in Sandra's story. And again, I always wrap up, if you want to put poop in a bucket, I'm your girl. So reach out. Again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you continue to watch us more, and I'll try to find another inspiring story to share next time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.